In the time of making these 25 cups for this exhibition, it's hard to count how many cups I've thrown away, because each one of these are the end point of a long study into a technique, into a shape, and getting them intertwined as I want them. Sometimes you get a gem from the kiln, they give something unexpected that actually works, but that's not always the case and nothing you can expect. But happy times when that happens. Usually it's only hard work. For instance, this cup. It's a dark stoneware clay, fired in an anagama kiln for 4 days, with a thin white slip applied with a brush. You can see the grey or almost blue color here, and more red on the inside here, and that's from the firing, where flame has hit this side but not got into the pot. And you can also see a white mark on this side, and that's from the wadding. This cup has actually been fired on the side. You can see that as well, as it's a little bit oval from being at 1300 degrees Celsius for 4 days, or 3 at least. It's few clays will manage that without any effects, and that's kind of nice. It's a story in its own. And the wadding is very decorative in this pot. I put on a large one to give an entire large white speck here. This pot is fired in an electric kiln, and it's a study into a tradition of yellow seto in Japan. I don't know how close I am to the originals, but I really like these results that I get out of it. With a white clay, a porcelain slip, and a yellow glaze. That's clear when thin, but motley and unclear when thick. So after glazing this pot, you can actually see these lines as cracks in the glaze, because where the crack is, the glaze will become thinner, and you will get this very special look after the firing. So many of these cups are thrown away during the glazing part, not even after the firing, so to speak, because I see how well the cracks develop. I like the shape here where you get a firm grip. It tells the user how to hold him or her, whichever a cup is. So I've already shown you a grey bluish pot earlier, and this is another one made out of primitive porcelain, like the first porcelains in China would look like. So on the outside you have the colder color, and on the inside where the flame hasn't hit, you have almost a yellow tint. And on the base here you have something similar, and that's because I fired these cups in a stack. So I had made 8 or so of these, and I put the first cup like this, and then put another one on top of that, rim against rim, and then another cup up like that, so foot against foot. So that explains why fire hasn't touched the inside, because it's been closed by another cup, and it hasn't touched the inside of the foot because another foot has been on top of that. You can clearly see where the flame hasn't had power enough to push itself into the crack, because it released itself and given this reddish halo around the base. I like the foot on this, cut like a gemstone, hard and sharp, and it fits the petite size so well. So during the last firings I've looked to other techniques in firing the kiln, a little bit more or a little less smoke, at least at parts of the firing, and I started to get these fired pots. They become a little bit more shiny when oxidizing. You get a little bit more of these yellow parts, and you get these large ash specks that are yellow, that I think they call goma in Japanese. I like the shape of this pot, with a straight line, a small curve into a straight foot, a little bit beveled here, so it lifts a little bit above the tabletop, and a small outwards edge, making it easy to drink from, but also a very sophisticated ending to the shape, I feel. And then a very simple firing, just honest in its style. So on the other hand, you get firings that are quite dramatic, and this is a cup that represents that style. Dark stonework clay with a vitreous slip on top, fired in a wood salt kiln. And you can see how differently the vitreous slip has reacted on different sides, depending on reduction, fire, temperature, salt amount, all those things. You can see the 3 wadding marks, a small foot here, and yeah, the connection between the sides and the foot via some cuttings here that I've done during trimming, and I've scraped up a little bit like a pattern here to make the edge less hard, in a sense. It's nice how the glaze has pooled during firing, moved downwards, and actually made a couple extra lines, like outlines to the rim, making it very clear where it is. So the rim is darker, you have a light part and a dark line once again.